Testing. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. If you would just bear with us, we should begin our honors convocation ceremony in just about 1 minute. Thank you. Just asking everyone to remain seated as we listen to the safety briefing. While we await the setting up of the safety briefing, shall we please stand for the national anthem?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are experiencing some technical difficulties, so let's please sing the national anthem of Trinidad and Tobago together. Forged from the love of liberty in the fires of hope and prayer, with boundless faith in our destiny, we solemnly declare. Side by side we stand, islands of the blue Caribbean Sea, this our native land. We pledge our lives to thee. Here every creed and race find an equal place, and may God bless our nation. Here every creed and race find an equal place, and may God bless our nation. Thank you. Please keep standing.
Let's bow our heads for prayer. As we come before you to present our outstanding students during this honors convocation, I pray that we have a smooth program. I pray that those who have been honored today realize that they are exceptional and they are wonderfully made. I pray that this program will influence others to work as hard to receive an honor. Just in my prayer. Amen.
Please be seated.
Safety briefing for the USC auditorium.
Today is a great day. Mr. President, Keynote Speaker, Mr. Fitzroy Harewood, fellow colleagues of the administration, faculty, and staff, students, invited guests, and a remarkable group of honorees. Today is a day and a time set aside to honor students who have endured, who have persisted, who have worked hard, and who have demonstrated the aptitude to reach significant academic standards. It is my pleasure to welcome all of you to this especially exciting event, the Honors Convocation of the University of the Southern Caribbean. It is exciting today because among many of the other events we've had this year, the Olympiad, Charter Week, International Student Week, the Blitz you students have, this represents a return to the normalcy of what university academic life is all about. Soon to be culminated, of course, with the greatest of all celebrations, graduation. Students are at the center of the university experience. You are the reason why we exist. Because all of us, administration, faculty, and staff, are dedicated towards one important goal, one important mission: to transform ordinary people into extraordinary servants of God to humanity. To do that, we must ensure that you gain all the skills for success while you're here. To the fellow students who have shown up today to celebrate the honorees, I hope this is an occasion that inspires you so that our next honors convocation, many of you will be sitting at the front and receive all the special accolades given to our colleagues today. I will have some more remarks later on, but I want to conclude my short statements here by honoring the people who are perhaps most important to your success. My faculty colleagues, wherever you're sitting today, you're the ones who have labored to assist our honorees on this journey. I know that sometimes faculty are overwhelmed by the lack of inadequate resources, disappointed by only a few, not many of you, impudent students, and sometimes discouraged by some of their colleagues, like us, administrators and fellow faculty. But in spite of the headwinds, you are the silent heroes of the academic system. And I want to say publicly right now to every member of faculty who is here and for all the staff who support the programs, thank you, thank you, thank you. Your work is never in vain. Occasions like this proves that. I want to thank you for being here, everyone, to celebrate our students today. Thank you very much.
The protocol just established. Ladies and gentlemen, I am honored today to be in the presence of our students, all of our students, especially our students who are seated in white, mostly, and who will be acknowledged in a special way later on. I want to say that I am inspired by you, each of you, every last one of you. You inspired me because regardless of the challenges you face, you stuck to the task. You got up every day, mostly, and you came to class and accomplished what was set before you. You inspire me because in the face of the challenges that all of us experience, you have accomplished. And you will continue to accomplish. You inspire me because we need you. We need you tomorrow. We need you today. We need you every day to be successful. The world needs you. Trinidad and Tobago needs you. The region needs you. We at USC need you to be successful. And so I want to say to you one last thing, that as you continue in your journey, some of you, I'll see you at graduation 2023. Congratulations for coming this far, and know that your commitment to excellence will take you beyond this moment to the point where you will be a graduate of the University of the Southern Caribbean and will leave these shores, leave these walls, leave this place to shine brightly to make a difference in the lives of others. I want to say thanks to our parents, our guardians, our teachers, our staff, our administrators here at USC for all that you do to make today possible. And may God continue to bless all of our honorees today and all of us together at the University of the Southern Caribbean. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. The pleasure is mine to introduce the keynote speaker for the afternoon, Mr. Fitzroy Harewood. And Mr. Fitzroy Harewood is the current president of Point Research Nitrogen Limited, an ammonia manufacturing facility located in Point Research Industrial Estate, North and Trinidad. Point Research Nitrogen Limited is a joint venture company owned by two US-based entities, Koch Industry Incorporated and CF Industries Holding Incorporated. Mr. Harewood has over 30 years of technical, managerial, and leadership experience in oil, gas, power, and petrochemical industries. After his graduation in 1985, he worked at the Trinidad Company of Trinidad and Tobago, TSTT, as an engineer in training and a project engineer. During this period, he was involved in the transition from legacy electromechanical telecommunication to digital technology. In 1986, he joined the Trinidad and Tobago Oil Company Limited, Trintoc, a predecessor company of Petroleum Company of Trinidad and Tobago Limited, Petrotrin, as a project engineer, and was involved in various projects across the integrated oil company. 10 years later, he moved to Hydro Agri Trinidad Limited, which became Yara Trinidad Limited, based at Savanata Point Research, Trinidad, as an assistant manager engineering. In that operation, one of the oldest petrochemical natural gas companies in Trinidad and Tobago, he served in various positions of increasing responsibility, including 3 years as human resource manager and culminating as production manager before moving on to the Power Generation Company of Trinidad and Tobago, that's PowerGen, to take up the position of general manager from December 2011 to October 2015. On November the 1st, 2015, he was appointed to the position of president of Petrotrin and served in the position until his resignation at the end of January 2018. On June 11th, 2018, he assumed the position of president of Point Rhesus Nitrogen Limited. Mr. Harewood is a graduate of the University of West Indies, St. Augustine, with a BSc degree in electrical and computer engineering, and a postgraduate diploma. And something with my technology, I think he would have been able to help me with. Yeah. Man, that's when you have to deal with this cheap phone. Anyway, he did a postgraduate degree in management at the University of the Southern Caribbean, your university, and we felt that if there's anyone apt to speak to us, who is speaking not only as someone who trained elsewhere, but someone who trained in places where you sat. And without further ado, the next voice after we have the singing, the beautiful voices of Kezia Isidore and Mindy Felix, we have our speaker for the afternoon. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Let's give them another round of applause. I begin by thanking the very articulate Pastor Brown for an introduction that caused him to stumble, because I suppose he's not accustomed to introducing engineering students, but it's good to be here. So I thank him for that. He's a good friend and somebody I look up to, and it's really a pleasure to be in his presence. Dr. Colwick Wilson, President of the University of the Southern Caribbean, and a man who I've come to admire for his work, for his humility, and for his love for this institution. Dr. Len Archer, who hosted me for a few minutes before we started today, Provost of the University of the Southern Caribbean, the number of vice presidents, deans, chairs of other administrators at the university who are present here today. I thought I should also recognize Mr. Vayani Tooney, the ASB president, who is here with us today. I always encourage student leadership, and I trust that he brings with his team a lot of challenges to the institution. Not to the point where when he graduates you wish he leaves, but certainly to bring the best out of the institution. The number of faculty, staff, members, and students who are also here, a number of parents and friends who are here supporting the honorees today, and then finally, you, the distinguished honorees who are here with us this afternoon. Congratulations. Give yourselves a round of applause. I think it's significant that we are taking this time to honor you and to recognize your achievements thus far. A lot of the employees who work with me, they know I have a little mantra that says, the reward for good work is more work. And I hope you know that as we celebrate your good work today, it's not a destiny, it's not an end, it's a journey, it's not a destination, and there is more work to come. So today, as we gather with friends and family and faculty members and all those who have contributed to your success at this point, I think it's important just to mark the spot, take some time and understand where you are in your careers, understand that you are obviously transitioning to full certification and credentials. Some of you will graduate in June, I understand. Some have a number of years ahead, but you're all looking towards final graduation. And then I want to let you know that final graduation is also another spot that we mark in what would be a larger career where you put your university education to work because your communities, your societies, your countries need you. I reflected on the fact today that you not only chose your speaker through a committee, but you also came up with a very encouraging and a very rewarding theme, which I understand to be undaunted and triumphant, yes? And so we want to talk a little bit today about undaunted and triumphant. And I thought that before I get into that, I just want to let you know that what you do here at the University of the Southern Caribbean is not in vain. It's not something that is esoteric, that has no value out in the communities. In the days when we went to university in the 1980s, when we came out to work, it was fashionable for people to say that the university students knew nothing and that you had to start to learn all over again. As a matter of fact, I graduated with a degree in electrical engineering. And when I got back to Point Fountain and I met my then girlfriend, who later became my wife, so I'm not talking out of turn, she reminded me that they were wiring over their house at home and they could do with all the help they can get. When I said, well, I cannot wire a house, I don't know how to pull wires and bend conduit, she said, so what did you study for the past 3 years? Thankfully, my employers had a lot more value in my degree than she did then. I want to suggest to you that further education is a necessary part of the development of the region that we call the Caribbean. And I want you to hold that strong because it's important that you appreciate that you represent the future of the Caribbean region. And I know sometimes we are in an age where we don't like to put pressure on you, but I am not a fan of that. I want you to understand that in a Caribbean society that is struggling to deal with the things that are flowing in the world today, with a globalization that seems to make us small dots, but yet still we struggle with climate change, and we are struggling to deal with the adjustments that are required, and we seem to be just ebbing to and fro based on the energy economy that is changing and requiring us to do new things. The Caribbean needs young people who are willing to put their hands up and say, we are willing to work to make our region better. And so whatever is your calling, wherever you will end up, the fact that you came out of the University of the Southern Caribbean means that you have a contribution to make, and you must stand up boldly and make your contribution in our societies. And it doesn't matter whether you become a teacher, whether you become a philosopher, it doesn't matter whether you become a manager in a business or you join the public sector, wherever you go, it's important to leave a legacy that says, I was trained and educated at the University of the Southern Caribbean. I experienced tertiary education that not many, believe it or not, even though we are a large number here today, not many Caribbean people get the opportunity to take part in. And therefore, I must do my part to make the Caribbean better. I say that to you because when I graduated in 1985, I reflected on the fact that I grew up in what was a 2-bedroom board house in Point Fontaine, in a village called Parilands in Guapo, an oil town, which was no more than, I didn't know at the time we were poor, but clearly we were. And I was a child of parents who had come from immigrants who had come to Trinidad in the 1920s in response to an oil boom that was taking place, particularly down in the Deep South. When I see the migration, Dr. Wilson, that is occurring towards Guyana these days, I can't help but think how much we have come around full circle. And as I grew up with my parents, my mother a housewife, and my father an apprentice who became a welder in the oil company, but he spent 45 years in Point Fontaine, he always ensured that we put a heavy focus on education, because for him it was important that we be able to do better than he did and to ensure that we became better citizens than he was. Well, I'm not too sure I've achieved that yet. But I want to say to you that one of the things that he left with me, because he was a self-taught man, no further than primary school level, was a poem by Rudyard Kipling called If. It's a poem that was written way back in the 1800s. And I want to suggest to you that if you want to talk about undaunted and triumphant, that when you get some time, you review the poem If by Rudyard Kipling. You see, undaunted and triumphant suggests that we have overcome and that we have developed the resolve and the determination to succeed irrespective of the challenges that you face. And you are here today as students because you are able to show through empirical evidence, through the grades that you receive and the GPA that you have been able to apply yourselves and achieve good results. And for that, yes, you can give yourselves a round of applause for that. For that alone, you have satisfied the requirement to call yourselves undaunted. Because a lot of people become intimidated by university life. And they are challenged to say, I don't want to continue. And it's drawing too much for me. But you have soldiered on. Some of you in final year. Some of you to the point where you are now in first year. But you have shown that your willingness to work hard. And I want to encourage your parents who are here today to keep supporting you as you work hard. Because undaunted requires discipline. It requires a kind of stick-to-itiveness. It requires a willingness to keep studying, even though there may be other functions on the campus to take away your time. If you know you got work to do, then you must do the work that is required of you. And you are here today as an evidence of that. But I want to say to you, because I know the coordinator said to me that I do not have unlimited time. So I want to kind of bring it home quickly. I want to say to you that there is a temptation to assume that undaunted and triumphant is an achievement. And I want to discount that to you today and suggest to you that undaunted and triumphant is more of an attitude than an achievement. It therefore means that you need to start to go about life with a positive outlook, because you need to know that you can achieve what you have set your mind on. And that the hard work and the discipline, you know, there's a fallacy to think. And I have managed and I have mentored a number of very bright young students and engineers who have come to work in companies that I've worked in. And I remember sometimes I would see them coming in with first-class honors. And they would say to me, well, we study hard, and therefore we should now get the big box and all the nice things so that we could go on our Peter Avenue every Friday night. Well, when we started to give them hard work, I remember one young engineer, he had both a mechanical and an electrical degree. Both of them had first-class honors. He was bright beyond comparison. And he came to me one day and he said, look, you guys are giving me work that is not really challenging me, and I feel bored here. I say, hold on, brother, hold on. It's just 6 months, hold on. 2 years later, he came to me and he said, they're trying to kill my boss, man. See, I haven't seen my home in daylight for the last 3 weeks because we were working some really long hours to try to fix the plant and to do some capital investments. I want to say to you, honorees, that the work you put out here at the university, when you get out into the real world, we expect you to put out the same work. If you thought that getting out of here was a get out of a jail-free card, and now you could say like the man in the parable, because you know I'm also a church elder, so you don't mind if I mix what I have to say with the Spirit, right? And you want to say, thy soul have everything, eat, drink, and be merry. I have news for you, hard work continues. And the expectation is, we have a high expectation of university-trained students because you know what it is to go and do the research. You know what it is to not depend on chat GPT. And to really do the work. So that when you bring material to me and it reaches my desk, I can say for certainty somebody who researched presented this. Is that okay? And if you end up teaching, whatever you end up doing, it's important that you do the work. Because the society that we live in is a society that loves old talk. I have a partner used to call it rum shop talk. We like to say, I think and I feel. And we love the 2-paragraph and the 2-line Twitter and the Instagram pictures, but ask them to write. I took on this new job at Point Lisa's Nitrogen 5 years ago. And when I was hired by the Americans, they said to me, there are some issues in that company that we'd like you to solve. So I walked into the company and I had some young, they're still there, bright engineers, some of the brightest people I've seen in this country. Studied hard, did extremely well, and they are now working in the industry. We pay them well, so they're there a while. So I would say to them, they would come to me with all these bright ideas, but what we can do to save gas, improve the efficiency of the plants, improve the cost, and they would speak it out to me without fail, and I would say to me, write me a paper. Right, boss? We don't write, we just fix things. Engineers don't write, and I said, unless you can give me it in writing, we're not going to follow it. And so they had to go back to their school days. Are you with me? And I want to say to you today that when you go out into the world of work, don't disregard your university training, because it's important. Undaunted and triumphant is an attitude that says, even when I fail, I will try again. But you all right with that? Undaunted and triumphant means that if I first don't succeed, I'll try again. I'm not carrying on a pity party. I'm not going to tell the whole world what is happening to me and play the victim. I'll always be a victor. Undaunted and triumphant means that you will not be tempted into this narcissistic society that you are now a part of. You don't have to post your picture every day. I don't have to see when you were brushing your teeth. We need to move beyond those forms and start to get into substance. What are you doing to change the society? Do you have a social conscience? When you graduate from USC and you go out into the world and you get your jobs, do you just drive past the street dwellers, or are you involved in NGOs and community groups that can help people make a better situation in their lives? I have a lot of graduates who I have been, whenever we do CSR projects, I send them out. And some of them get cussed. Some of them, the people don't like them. Some years ago, Mark Loquan, who is now the president of NGC, we have Jit Samaru and Len Bugsy and the other one, Ray Holman. And we were attempting to take their music, which they have done excellent work, and we were attempting to score the music. You musicians will understand that. And give them back the music scores as a gift to them. And when I sent some of my officers to work with them, they came back to me and they complained at length. They said, Fitzroy, these guys are indisciplined. You can't get them when you want them. You call a meeting today and they say, yes, they come in and never show up. And we have to stop spending the company money on them. And I went to Mark and I said, what do you want us to do? And he said, Fitzroy, artists are different. But we know better. So we need to get them to work. I want to say to you, honorees, that when you go out into the world out there, don't expect everybody to be like Colwick Wilson and be always on time when you call them to be. Some people are going to be late. Some days the company is not going to do what you thought they should do. Some days things are not going to work out. What are you going to do? Give up? Walk away? You've got to keep pressing through. Because undaunted and triumphant is an attitude, it's not a destination. It's about going forward and keeping positive. Is that all right? And then I was going somewhere with this narcissistic society. I want to suggest to you that I don't want you to be promoting yourselves, but you need to start to learn to be invisible. I know you don't like to hear that, but sometimes you need to let your work speak for you. You need to start to develop. You need to start to develop good work. Work that people could hold on to. Work that people could take years later and say, John or Jane, who came from USC, did this. One of the challenges we face in this university is that sometimes we spend a lot of effort to market the university. I said to some of my employees, I had to go up to the University of the Southern Caribbean today to give a speech, so I'll be missing some meetings this afternoon. And they said, I see one up in Maracas, up in the hills. And we struggle sometimes to market this place. But you know who are the best people at marketing this place? You. Because when you go out there, and you perform at your best, people start to ask, where did you study? And you need to say to them, the University of the Southern Caribbean. Finally, at the end of the day, this is an honors convocation. So it can't be that I speak to you and not talk about Jesus Christ. I want to say to you today that if you want to be narcissistic about your love for Jesus Christ. The days of apologizing that you are Christian or you're a religious person, far less a Seventh-day Adventist, those days are over. Now, as an employer, I look for people with religious conviction. Because the society after Enron, after the Enron disaster in the 1980s, there was a significant amount of overhauls in the corporate world. And one of the biggest issues that hits the corporate world is the issue of business ethics and corporate integrity. People are not going to invest in a company that is thieving their money. And if, years ago, I managed a graduate training program. And we put the ads on the paper and people would apply as young engineers. And we would get sometimes up to 1,000 applications from young graduates for just 5 or 6 positions. So we developed a psychometric assessment. And in that psychometric assessment, we didn't just ask about their personality types, but we also put in questions around, if you could take something from the company without anybody seeing, would you? If you could come to work late and nobody challenged you, would you? And you'd be amazed how many people put yes to that. Because maybe we told them we need to be honest. And I know the last time I said that, one of the young students told me I should have rewarded them for being honest, and that's fine. But then I also have a corporate responsibility, right? So that will allow us to whittle it down. We stop doing it these days. But the point I want to make to you is that your ethical behavior is more valued in the world of work than your degrees and qualifications. I'd rather take somebody who does not have an honors degree if I am sure that they are honest and they will own up when they make mistakes, rather than have me going around in circles. I'm an electrical engineer, last story. And a lot of times I worked in the field. I remember once we had set up a protection scheme in the plant so that if something happened, it will trip the plant and take us down and stuff. Now, ammonia is a very expensive business. We have plants in Point Lisa that produce as much as 2,000 tons of ammonia per day. And on a bad year, ammonia sells for about $300 to $400 a ton, right? So it's a big issue if the plant is not operating. And I remember Friday evening, we were about to do a procedure that I had worked on and established the criteria for it to get done and written it up, etc., train everybody. And the last part of the procedure required me to stand in front of some switchgear. And when the guys told me on the radio, turn it now, my job was to turn it. So we were going at about 2:30 that Friday afternoon. And just before they called me on the radio, another guy came in the switch house, a young operator. And we started a whole talk, normal Trini thing, not taking the people work seriously, so we were talking. He asked about some other guy I knew. And in the middle of the conversation, I heard the message come across the radio and say, Fitzroy, no. And I don't know, talking to him, there were 2 buttons that look exactly alike. And I switched the wrong one. I heard loud noises outside. There are some chemicals we use in ammonia processes to remove carbon dioxide. That went up through the stack where we normally have a flare. It fell on people's cars. it took out the paint on their cars. And the plant crashed down, and it meant we had to be down for about 4 days to see what's happening. The president of the company came down to the plant that day, at the time when this happened. As he walked into the room, he says, "Fitzroy, what happened here?" And I said, "Well, I switched the wrong breaker." He said, "What do you mean?" I said, "I switched the wrong breaker." He said, "Do you have a procedure?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Who write the procedure?" I said, "I did." He said, "So how come you switch you?" I said, "I really don't know." I said, "It looked like that man distracted me, and some or the other, in the moment, I made the wrong decision." He shook his head. He went back up in his office, and he said, "See how quickly he could get it back up." Of course, it's Friday evening, so when I walked into the plant, and I walked into the control room, all the operators who normally operate the plant, they don't like the fact that the plant is down because people now have to go home to come back in the night to continue to work because we have to fix it 24/7. Men watching me bad eye. And then I say to them, "Well, fellas, you know it's Friday. I have a Sabbath to observe. So have you seen you guys?" So before I left, I called my electrical crew together, and I said to them, I made a mistake here, I'm sorry. And the senior guy said to me, "The boss know where it is?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "You told him?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Why you tell him?" I said, "I mean." I said, "I thought I should own up." He said, "Man, this is electrical." He said, "You just tell him that the electromagnetic field was strong or something, and it moved the breaker." He said, "We never own up for mistakes." And I suppose I set a new precedent. Some years later, as I finished this story, some years later, I became the overall manager for engineering, maintenance, procurement, and a few other disciplines. And a young technician, a young lady we hired, because we were very much into gender diversity way back then. A young lady we hired, she had come straight out of school, and she went to take out some wires from an old device that she thought was the old wires, and she cut live wires that caused the whole plant to trip. And everything came crashing down. And as she fell in a bundle and started to cry, her colleagues looked at her and they said, "Go and see Fitzroy. He do that plenty time and they make him manager." I want to say to you that I'm giving those stories to tell you that the industry and the world outside there, even in the political world, yes, even in the political world, integrity and sincerity and honesty matter. So if you're going to be undaunted and triumphant, then have integrity. And I can think of no greater source of integrity than a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. And so, my admonition to you, honorees, 2023, is keep going. There's more work ahead. Make the Caribbean proud, we need you. Because this Caribbean region, you stand on the shoulders of giants who got us here so far. And I expect in the next few years, you would make your impressions known, and you would work within communities, within societies, among our young people, to give them a better life than we have today, even as we prepare for a life with Jesus Christ in the hereafter. Thank you.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone, once again. So just before I do what I am supposed to do this afternoon, I would like to introduce everyone, and while students may know the persons who are on the platform, I am assuming that friends, family, mommy, daddies, aunts, uncles, you don't know. So, to my, just center, center. So guys, I need to do this really quickly. So to my colleagues, if you could just stand and... So we have with us our president, Dr. Colwick Wilson, and to his left, my left, your right, you just heard and could never forget Mr. Fitzroy Haywood. To further left, again, my left, your right, we have with us our provost, Dr. Len Archer. And behind every man, or how is that saying again? Behind every man is that's right, is his wife, Mrs. Archer, and she is with us in the audience to your left. All right, then we have Mrs. Jan McEwen Simmons, instructor in the Education Department and chairperson of this committee. To my right, your left, the president of the ASB, your representative, Mr. Vianney Tony. And coming out of the School of Theology and Religion, Pastor Cyril Marshall. All right, now, my far right, your left, Pastor Terrence Brown, coming out instructor. All right, and I will go to the I'll take it from here. The Dean of the School of Business, Ms. Sherilyn Nigol. And next we have, standing in for the Dean of the School of Education and Humanities, we have Dr. Campbell Sanderson. Now, he may be hiding, but he's there. The Dean of the School of Science, Technology, and Allied Health, Dr. Antwi, and our newest Dean in the School of Social Sciences, Dr. Susan Chand. The man who I could never have enough words, or he'll always have better words than I would, the Dean of the School of Theology and Religion, Dr. Hussein. And we know very well that online education is the way to go, and it's the way the world is going, and so we have the Dean of Distance Education, Dr. Genevieve Buku. Oh, and who am I? My name is Ayana Antoine, and I am the University Registrar. So, let me get into what I am here for. This afternoon, I'm here to tell you a little bit about Honors Convocation. What is this thing? Why are we here? I mean, we have just been inspired by Mr. Haywood, but let me tell you a little bit about it. Now, the Honors Convocation is an occasion that is calendared in the annual life cycle of our university for the purpose of celebrating the achievement of academic excellence by our students. It should not escape our attention that this particular year, the Honors Convocation arrives in a season of excellence in what our president likes to call Miracle Valley. There was the adrenal spectacle of athletic brilliance displayed by Mr. Njanu Bellamy and other participants to varying degrees, and the president can tell you more about that, varying degrees, at our recently concluded USC Olympiad. Last evening, we witnessed from Mr. Jad Isidore and Ms. Abigail Collins and all the other participants in Portraits of Excellence a truly delightful snapshot of some of the best USC has to offer. And I would just like to pause at this moment to acknowledge Ms. Collins and Mr. Isidore, who with us, our Mr. and Mrs. USC. All right. So, I mean, at the end of the day, they are going to represent us, right? Nice. Now, this affluence of excellence around us makes a compelling case for the fulfillment of what Ellen G. White, who is perhaps the greatest human contributor to the philosophy of Adventist education, what she meant when she wrote, "Our ideas of education take too narrow scope and too low a range. There is need for a broader scope and a higher aim. True education means more than the pursuit of a certain course of study or degree. It means more than the preparation of the life for now. It has to do with the whole being, the head, the heart, the hand, and the whole period of existence possible to man. It is the harmonious development of the physical, the mental, and the spiritual powers. It prepares the student for the joy of service in this world and for the higher joy of a wider service in the world to come." E.G. White's conviction, appears to find support in some of the literature of contemporary education research and scholarship. There seems to be a direct correlation between outstanding academic achievement and student engagement, with wholesome extracurricular activities that exercise the development of the physical, the psychosocial, and cultural provinces of human existence. This afternoon, we are here to honor academic excellence. Join with us as we honor 673 honorees. And I repeat, 673 honorees. And they fall into 3 categories. So, we have persons who are falling in the category of the Dean's List, and they would have received a semester GPA of 3.5 and above, having completed 12 credits without receiving any C grades. Then we have 49, or did I mention that in that category we have 623 students. Next, we have the Provost list, and those students would have received a 3.74 to 3.99 GPA, a cumulative GPA, so that means everything that they would have done at USC for every semester in the past to now, or basically to 2021, 2022, and they would have had to complete a minimum of 28 credits, not receiving any grade below a C. And finally, we have our President's List, the highest honor. That person who achieved a perfect GPA of 4.0, having complete 24 credits, and it's a cumulative GPA. And we have one person in that category. And so I invite the deans of the respective school in this order: the School of Business, the School of Education and Humanities, the School of Science and Technology, the School of Social Sciences, and the School of Theology, and the dean from the School of Distance Education to bring congratulatory remarks, after which we would hear from the provost, who would congratulate the persons on the provost list. And finally, we would hear from our president, who would congratulate and provide a certificate for the one individual on our president's list. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, will the honorees from the School of Business and Entrepreneurship please stand? Please keep standing. Now, for those of you who made the Dean's list, the Provost list, and the one student who is from the School of Business and Entrepreneurship who made the President's list. You know, I had to say it, and the President is going to give me an eye behind my back. Ladies and gentlemen, we can assume three things. My students from the School of Business and Entrepreneurship, you know how to manage yourself. You know how to manage distractions, and you know how to achieve your goals. Or just probably you have a photographic memory, but that is possible too. Now, if you're going to stand out as opposed to fit in, then earning good grades is a good way to stand out. People who do excellent things catch the attention of excellent people. Don't just be cool. Don't just be normal. Don't just be ordinary. Be extraordinary. There's a little post in the School of Business that says the difference between ordinary and extraordinary is the little extra. So be excellent and surround yourself with excellent people. Don't make this the first time that you are on the Dean's list or the second. Make sure you graduate on that honors list. Ladies and gentlemen from the School of Business and Entrepreneurship, we have a text posted in the School of Business that says, "Seest thou a man diligent in his business? He shall stand before kings. He shall not stand before mean men." Way to go, School of Business and Entrepreneurship students. We salute you. Congratulations. You may be seated.
Will the Dean list honorees from the School of Education and Humanities please stand? Before I speak to you, I would like, if there are any parents, guardians, family members of these students, I would like you to stand, please. I have one sentence for you, parents, guardians, relatives. Thank you for supporting our students. You may sit. And students, I want to remind you to be thankful for this support. You would not have been where you are today without that support. Do not take it for granted. Today, April 3rd, 2023, is a historical day in your academic journey. Your persistence, dedication, and drive to not just get the job done, but to get it done best in spite of life's challenges is being celebrated by this gathering. The Dean, Dr. Jacobs Brown, along with the faculty and staff of the School of Education and Humanities, are very, very proud of you. And because of this pride, we want to challenge you to not just be comfortable with what you have attained, to not just plan to repeat this feat next year, wherever next year would find you, but we want you to continue to go beyond the excellence, undaunted. At this time, I invite a round of applause for our Dean's honorees. I want to also encourage you with these words. Go on, go on, go on. Go on, go on, go on. Go on, go on. Go on, go on. Go on, go on, go on. Please be seated.
I'm the shortest person over here, right? Students of School of Science, Technology, and Allied Health, I would like you to stand. I'm just going to say some few things to you. So I want you to listen to me. What I'm going to tell you is this. I'm so proud of you. You know that? I'm so proud of you. And you know the reason why I'm so proud of you? Because you are the students. You spend a lot of time in the laboratory. And you prepare your lab reports. And I always see our nursing students through the sun. Even when it's raining, you are going there. What are you going to do? You are going to help humanity, isn't it? And that is why it makes me very proud, and your parents are also very proud of you. You know what I have to say to you? I am just rejoicing with you today. And if I have money, I will have given each one of you $100 each, but I'm not so rich like our president. But one thing I just want to tell you, next year, hold somebody's hand. Help somebody to study. Because if you do that, you are doing something the Bible says, help your neighbor as yourself. Promise me, next year, you are going to help somebody, you are going to teach somebody, and you will bring in that person here. Let me see your hands. If you're going to help somebody, thank you very much. I'm so proud of you. And I know your parents are proud of you. And we thank the faculty, staff of School of Science, Technology, and Allied Health. You deserve a round of applause. Thank you very much, and may God bless you. Have your seat.
Okay. Will the honorees of the School of Social Sciences please stand? Please remain standing, and we'd like to acknowledge the parents and the friends and family who have come by to support them in their celebrations. Okay? So congratulations, honorees, on your distinguished academic achievement. You have made it to the Provost list, you have made it to the Dean's list, and you have demonstrated your academic excellence, and we would like to see you go beyond excellence. I want to just leave you with this thought in 2 Corinthians 8, verse 7, where Apostle Paul was saying to the people of Corinth, "But as you excel in everything, in faith, in speech, in knowledge, in all earnestness, and in our love for you, See that you excel in this act of grace too. As School of Social Sciences, we are social beings, we are social people, so be gracious. This will add value and meaning to your social interactions, your academic excellence, your emotional well-being, and spiritual walk with your God. God bless you. And we are very proud of you. Yes. You may be seated. Thank you.
Yes, sir. I sense a ubiquitous wave of triumphant anticipation in the house today, where all the undaunting luminaries of the star look quintessentially well adorned for the occasion. Will you kindly assume a perpendicular position? I read in the language of the ancients. E detis humon lepetai Sophias. Allow me to calibrate the interpretation. If some one of you is being left without wisdom, James 1:5, bereft of wisdom, present passive indicative, eteto paratu di dontos teu. Let him ask from, that's a participle, that's imperative mood, imperative of permission. Let him ask from the one who gives, that is to say God, genitive of apposition. Pasin Apollos, meaning who gives to all sincerely without contradiction. Kai me one dizontos kai detesetai auto. And that means who will not reproach, future passive indicative, and shall give to him liberally. Now only you could understand that. You have applied the promise of this verse and you have received wisdom. Will you say amen out there? You have made it, and I say a triumphant cheer to all for the acclaim you have brought to the smallest but signature school of the university, the School of Theology and Religion. God bless you. Congratulations.
Good afternoon. Mr. Provost, we need some awards for the deans. These people are shining. All right, so for the visitors in our midst, in addition to this, what we call the main campus here in Miracle Valley, Mr. President, the University of the Southern Caribbean has 6 extension campuses and 1 USC online virtual campus. So in the spirit of one USC, I would like to congratulate all the students of our extension and virtual campus who have made the Dean's List. And I know I have been promised that some of them are watching virtually and are engaged in spirit with us. So wherever you are, I would like you to stand. These, wherever they are, not in the auditorium, these students spanned this blue Caribbean Sea, hailing from our campus in Antigua, Barbados, Guyana, St. Lucia, and right here among us, South and San Fernando. And also, we have our virtual students who study with us fully online. And so to these 6 extension campuses and 1 virtual campus, I would like you here in the spirit of one USC to extend the love for our sisters and brothers in the campuses who could not be here. So I ask this auditorium to send a message of one USC with me today, to stand and simply raise your hands to those who could not be here but are celebrating with us. So could you for 2 seconds send a message to our extension campus students? Thank you so very much. And so to those of you, thank you, thank you. And so to those of you who could not be here, you are us and we are you, and we all in this auditorium congratulate you. And fortunately, we have students from our extension campus who could be here. So I ask the students of the South campus to please stand. Congratulations. Congratulations to our sister campus in the South. I know your associate directors here. I believe your director may also be here. I congratulate you for the hard work you have put in to be here today. And I honor you, and I'm so happy that you could be with us here today. And to you and to all the other extension campuses, I say, it's good for you to be here, but now I want you to use all the great brains that you have, that you came with, to build. Continue to build, generate ideas, build, build, build. Thank you so much. And finally, I extend congratulations to every honoree here with us from our extension campuses, from our directors and our coordinators who are with us here in spirit and also watching virtually. Thank you.
Well, we have a large number of people who are being honored today. But as you have already heard, they're subdivided in groups. And the group I want to address now is the group on the Provost list. And there are 49 of you. You know who you are. You have on those green sashes. Would you please stand? And I think there's an extra seat here, and there is one of our honorees who is at the back. Would you come right up and join your colleagues here? Thank you very much. You deserve the walk. Congratulations. Today, as we honor these 49 and other honorees, of course, you've distinguished yourselves in the academic process. In some ways, you are the sort of a tip of the spear of an extraordinary group of students here. I'm delighted to congratulate you. And you have the honor of being the first Provost list honorees that I have congratulated. Being on the Provost list means that you have demonstrated sustained, continuous commitment to academic excellence. Some of you for a year, some of you for a couple of years, many of you for your entire 4-year term here. And what is interesting is that for many of you, this is a new thing because you haven't been here for 2.5 years. You have survived a journey. You have been haunted by the displacement, physical isolation of friends, your instructors, your classmates, and at the same time dealing with this global pandemic that has resulted in the loss of life of many of your close friends and family members. That's an honor, being here in this position, that you are perhaps the first generation in many, many years have experienced, and perhaps there won't be that experience, hopefully, in the near future. You represent the best of what USC can be. So, congratulations. Congratulations on your accomplishment to this date. My heartfelt and best wishes to you. But as you have heard before, it means the journey has only just begun. Now you have set those expectations for yourself. You can do no less. God be with you. Please be seated.
The President's Award was intentionally announced by the Dean of the School of Business and Entrepreneurship. And that was an accurate announcement. So I want to congratulate the Dean for being intentional and accurate. Dean? The President's Award is appropriately given to Miss Laurelie Clark, School of Business and Entrepreneurship, will be graduating with a BBA in Finance. Is Laurelie here? Laurelie? Can someone escort Laurelie up? Thank you very much. So we have actually three items to present to you, Laurelie. Nice to meet you. The first one is a certificate of academic excellence awarded at the annual honors convocation exercise. This is to certify that Laurelie Clark has achieved outstanding academic recognition and placed on the President's list, having achieved a cumulative GPA of 4.0 for the academic period 2021-2023. And we have a second item, two gifts. I think one of them says Smart Cup. Congratulations. And then I have another one that says, in recognition of your outstanding academic performance, 1,000 Trinidad TT dollars is awarded to you.
Good afternoon. So in a positive psychological research done by Drs. Robert Colwick and Michael Colum of the University of California discovered that gratitude helps people feel more positive emotions, relish good experience, improve their health, deal with adversity, and build strong relationships. I believe you have exceeded and reached that goal of gratitude. You have reached there. Today, I am filled with gratitude to the people who have made this face-to-face honors convocation after 4 years possible. Right? It was successful. First of all, I'll give thanks to the honors convocation team for your commitment, your dedication, and to make sure everything was in place today for you. Thank you to the President and Provost for bringing welcome and greetings to you. To the ladies of the Registrar's Office, they will have handmade your tassels. So thank you for making sure that our graduates were well dressed with their cords and sashes. Thank you. To our undaunted and triumphant honorees, we thank you for being here. Congratulations to you for excelling during the 2021 and 2022 school year. Congratulations to your parents and guardians and well-wishers. Please congratulate them. We thank you, parents, for picking the best school in Trinidad and Tobago, the best university, for picking the best university throughout the Caribbean region. Thank you for sending them here. We are all proud of you. We allowed you to grow, get experience, and push your mental faculties beyond excellence, and it paid off. Right? To the students who did the special music, thank you. However, all of this would not have been possible without God. We need to acknowledge God in this. First and foremost, it would not have been possible without the administration, our faculty, and all of our staff at our beloved USC. We say thank you again. To our online viewers, thank you for logging in, logging on, and sending greetings to our honorees and cheering them along as well. But yes, I saved the best for last. Mr. Hurried, thank you for accepting our invitation to be our keynote speaker. Thank you. You have taken time off of your busy schedule and came here to teach us that further education is necessary, that we are the future for the Caribbean, you are the future for the Caribbean, that we should always have a positive attitude. I give you a grade A for your excellence. All right? We are filled with gratitude, so that this is our token of our appreciation to you, presented by Dr. Len Archer. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
I want to take the liberty to do just a couple of things here before we get to the end of our program. This is a very busy campus. We have just completed a number of important activities, one being the Portraits of Excellence just last evening, and many of you who were there appreciated that. But I want to mention a couple of events coming up that I think you would all want to know a little bit more about, so check your mail. One is the USC Got Talent, and if you thought there was talent last night, you come on the 8th, which is this coming Saturday evening. Tickets are available, make sure you're there. And also I want to highlight the music programs. This institution produces the best music programs in this region. Without doubt. You have the best orchestra, the best of any university around here, the best choir, the best everything. And you need to support them. And I know many of you, in spite of all the things you do in your programs, achieving this remarkable honor, also participate in music, just as a hobby, so to speak. And you'll be involved in that. So on the 9th, which is next Sunday, the women's chorus has a performance at the Vernon Andrews Amphitheater. Then the following 2 weeks, we are followed by the University Orchestra and Choir in concert, and also the University Steel Band. Those are all free events, the music programs. So please come and support your colleagues and take part in a wonderful cultural experience that we have here at USC. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, undaunted and triumphant, congratulations to all of the honorees this afternoon. Give yourselves a round of applause again. Well, Dr. Archer was so kind as to do one of my announcements for me, which would have been USC's Got Talent. And we saw some of that talent with Kezia and Mindy this afternoon. They were beautiful. So 2 bits of announcements that I want to leave with you before we wrap up this afternoon's session. 1, the certificates for all honorees will be available for collection beginning on Wednesday of this week from the registrar's office between 9 a.m. and 4:30. So it's not only on Wednesday, but beginning on Wednesday, the registrar's office between 9 a.m. and 4:30 p.m. Is that clear? Lovely. The second bit of information, as exciting as this afternoon was coming to a close, I'd like to remind all students it's still a school day and your classes resume for those who have classes after this wonderful ceremony. Yes? Lovely. Is Mr. Harris here? Lovely. Now, we cannot have any gathering of this nature without singing our university song. So Mr. Harris is going to lead us this afternoon as we sing our beloved school song.
Shall we stand for the school song? In the quest for knowledge and dignity, with our hearts aflame we have come, called to serve the church and society. We will join our hands as one, as we foster friendship and unity. Our identity we'll maintain. God before us, our goals in focus. Great achievements we will attain. Beyond excellence, towards the light. In truth and loyalty, we'll do the right. To always honor our alma mater, our beloved USC, our beloved USC.
Let's bow our heads as we pray. Thank you, Lord, for your presence here today. Thank you for those who have been recognized and challenged to continue to do great exploits, to make a difference in this world. Bless us now as we leave from this place and watch over us everywhere we go. In Jesus' name.